Alright, hello everybody. I know we just watched Crab's wrestling, but if you think that the next thing you need is a lot of downtime, then I've got the game for you. So this is Gemini Heroes Reborn, and as you see we're already kind of in the game, but this is the introductory cutscene, so there is nothing I can do here. Timing will start as soon as I can look at the moon, which basically means I have control. So I will kind of talk over this Shakespearean acting. Don't worry about it. So this, if you watched the Mirror's Edge relay yesterday, this is kind of like that, except it isn't, because we have like 50% downtime between loading screens that take 1 minute at a time, and these cutscenes where you just kind of can't do anything. But also the movement tech is not quite as advanced. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. And back to downtime. Perfect. So yeah, the movement tech is not quite on the level of Mirror's Edge, but instead we have telekinesis and time slowdown, and every speedrunner's best friend, boxes. So you may expect some box boosts, and you would be correct. However, it will take some time until we're there. So this is the first level, which obviously should be kind of tutorial. Right at the start we can't even sprint, we just can walk for a bit. Now, this is our friend, for now at least, Alex, and our quest is to find at least information about our missing sister, or something like that. So this is a game in the Heroes franchise, which I have absolutely no clue about, because I'm definitely not a weep and usually watch other series. So this is, I think, an original story, but don't quote me on that, so we'll see about it. So as I said, I can't sprint right now. You may see Alex teleport around here a bit, because he's supposed to be in a different position. Yeah, there we go, perfect. And on the next cutscene, I will only wait it out a bit until I get a checkpoint, and I will actually reload the checkpoint, and you will see the amazing reload time in this game. And you will probably wonder why I would restart checkpoint if it takes that long, but trust me, it's still faster to actually take the 30 seconds of loading screens instead of just waiting out the cutscene. So maybe Alex will glitch out here and he will give us his glasses. Yeah, let's see, the glasses are kind of hovering above his hands, which is definitely what it's supposed to be. Good game. So we get a checkpoint here, and I will just reset that. And yeah, enjoy this loading screen, it will not be the last one. So the game has 15 levels, I mean 16 if you count the credits, which in the game actually count as their separate level, but I don't. And yes, in between each one of those levels we get a nice loading screen like that, and in some levels we will reload the last checkpoint, so get ready for quite a few of those. So now that we have his glasses, we also have a HUD, and as you can see we have this insane chat feature in the lower left. So basically our glasses know exactly who is talking, they show their profile picture, and they know in advance what they will say because they auto-complete the text for us. Amazing technology. And now, yeah, you can see some bad guys over there. We are supposed to sneak past them, which we hopefully will do, so here we can crouch. Insane gameplay. And I have to wait it out a bit. Like, you can uncrouch here early to be a bit faster. But if you go too early, obviously they will catch you and you have to reload the checkpoint, and as we know by now, you don't really want to do that. So next, we will get finally a bit of downtime where I can relax, if I don't get stuck on some nice geometry on the ground there. We can actually go a bit ahead here and already climb this container or whatever, so Alex still thinks we're down here, which makes a lot of sense in this conversation. But next we will kind of learn how to climb and sprint, I guess, something like that. Interestingly here, we don't want to go too fast, because if we're too far ahead of Alex, he will actually slow down. So even the game wants to stop us from going fast. That's very nice. Let's see. So yeah, normal stuff here. Obviously you want to, later on, try to avoid as many climb-up animations as possible, because it's kind of slow. But yeah, especially in the start, we can't do too much. We don't even have our superpowers yet. And again, here I'll just slow down a bit to let Alex catch up. Also, I definitely want to listen to what he's telling me, because it's very helpful. Oh boy. Yeah, so there are some collectibles in this game. You can see this light swirling around back there. There's also, I think, one up here. All they do is give you an achievement, so I don't really care about that right now. And yeah, I also hope you really like bright lighting, because the game likes it apparently. And here we get this cutscene, so, I mean, cutscene is kind of, let's say we get downtime. If we were too fast, it would take much longer, and here we do a sprinting jump to cross this gap, and then we wait for Alex to arrive at the final point here. Also, yes, as I said, bright lighting is very cool. So Alex should show up around here. Also cross the gap and then come over, and then that's the first level done. I know, exciting gameplay so far. But as soon as we get our superpowers, we might be able to do a thing or two to cut out a bit of the rest of the game.
We should be clear those guys in no time. Let's see what you got. Hey, follow me over.
Oh no. Alright, so level 2, we get a bit more freedom of movement. Of course, that is after like 3 minutes of downtime or so. So now that we kind of, yeah, had a little accident here, both ourselves playing as Cassandra and Alex are, yeah, a bit in a bad way right now. So this is kind of a, yeah. This whole grounds here belongs to the company Alex works for, kind of-ish, and yeah, he has somehow gotten us access to it, but now there are some grunts here that shouldn't be here, and they kind of take Alex with them, I guess. Oops. And this is where we get a first glimpse at our superpowers, because they probably would find us here, but for some reason something like this happens, and now obviously we're in a different location, kind of. So this game has 2 timelines you can switch in between. This is the past, even though it looks, you know, it's not as demolished, which definitely never makes me mix the 2 up, and I would call one the other. But yeah, this is the past timeline, and right now we're looking kind of into the present timeline, where Alex is getting abducted. Right now we can't switch freely between them, but soon we will. And this thing we're doing right here, where we can glimpse into the other timeline, is called the Time Scout, I think? Maybe? I don't know. It's not that useful in speedrunning, but for casual playthrough you would usually like glimpse into the other timeline and see if it's safe there. So now we just sprint to the next event, which will be a stealth tutorial kind of ish. So yeah, this is the Time Scout again. You can look into the other timeline. So here's the stealth tutorial. Very well done. And now here we wait out this short monologue. So here you can see I'm looking into the next timeline, because obviously in this one I can't pass through this door, but in this one I see I can do that. And for that I would need to switch into the other timeline, which is what this tutorial is all about. So now on my own command I can do that. Sometimes you get stuck on some collision here. Yeah, right now I was not able to time shift, because if the place, or if your location in the other timeline is occupied even by a small pebble, Cassandra won't be able to time shift, so that's a bit awkward to do sometimes. But that's the rest of level 2. And from now on, for a few levels at least, we won't have as many interruptions. And yes, the FOV in this game is pretty notorious. And no, you cannot change it. I'm very sorry. And I agree, this game looks sick. Speaking of looking sick, these are actually literally epic graphic settings. And now in level 3 we actually will do our first skip. So we can't use time slowdown yet, which we will use a lot later on, but we can climb kind of on this geometry here. But it is very finicky. Yeah. Just get up here again and try to jump this time. Amazing. And now we can actually, so we're not supposed to be here, but we can further climb up and jump over here and climb up some more. So this is the level where we are supposed to get the rest of our superpowers, namely time slowdown. But we won't do that. We will just go out of bounds and drop in at the level end. But yeah, speaking of epic graphic setting, for some reason, sometimes the game just switches them all the way down to the lowest setting, but it still says like epic graphic settings. And even if you change them afterwards, it will not change what they look like. So I hope that doesn't happen. But technically, it's the best thing to run on lowest graphic settings, because one of the later levels we actually would want to have that, since then you can see more of the textures, because it's very dark. But, I mean, this already looks kind of, yeah, you know. Anyway, so this is the time slowdown tutorial. That was the time slowdown tutorial. And now we will do the rest of the level. So here we switch timelines. With time slowdown you can jump higher than without, which is what we abuse here to get past this part of collision. Here we wait out this conversation. I can't use my superpowers right now, so that's why I also get all these slow climb ups, but it doesn't matter because again we wait out the conversation. So we can switch timelines down here. Here we would get a tutorial about catching bullets in slow motion, but it's absolutely not necessary to do that in the speedrun, which is the only reason why I skip it, not because it's slower. And again, with time slowdown you have extended jump range, which is why you can cross that gap. Same for the ones here. And this one here. That's level 4. Level 5, at the start, we will again shift around some timelines to make progress. But if you thought, well, this gameplay doesn't look that bad once you get to do some gameplay, then boy, I have some news for you, because this level we have like 5 minutes of downtime. But this is the last big one before, I think, until level 12 or something. So yeah, this is kind of the last one we have to get through. So the general opinion on this game by the ones who have played it or tried to run it is that it is actually pretty fun as long as you get to do stuff. But the problem, which you may have spotted by now, is the immense amount of downtime. So here we did that small time shift into the other timeline, because if we would have not done that, we would have gotten another tutorial or rather cutscene, and that takes a while. So we don't do that. And here we'll do another checkpoint reload. So I got the checkpoint now. Again, this is actually faster than waiting out the conversation. But again, each loading screen is like 30 seconds or something around that. I think they get kind of, like, it's worse if you haven't loaded the level first, so maybe the checkpoint reloads aren't as bad, but yeah, you get used to it. So here we trigger the next part. And after this, I will trigger the conversation with the antagonist of the game, Mason. But first I have to time shift back again. So on this big screen you will see the gentleman. Hi, bye. So now this triggered a like multiple minute long conversation with him. In the meantime, we can prepare for what's next. So after the conversation, some bad guys will come out of this door and we will have to kill them. For that we can prepare. So explosives in this game are very, very lethal. Like this canister, you will see it basically one-shots them. One of them usually survives, so you have to use these drawers to knock him out. So you don't have weapons as such in this game, but your means of attack are telekinesis, so you throw objects at people, which can be fun. And the most important part of this level is trying to stack up this chair on the drawers, but usually you can't because the physics aren't great, and you can't rotate. Yeah, you can't rotate objects once you grab them.
What?
So to get this one upright again would be like you have to throw it around and hope it kind of lands.
Whatever this
Yeah,
is,
almost
whatever you want me
lands
for,
in a good position,
I
but
want
yeah,
no part of
it's
it.
pretty much not. Yeah, now it's destroyed anyways. It's not really possible once you mess up once. So yeah, basically now the bad guys will try to kill us instead of apprehend us, and that's all to test our abilities, because this is his master plan to foster new... and yes, you can see sometimes they're invulnerable. Nice. Thank you. So there's this guy, and now we're done. We can proceed, so that's level 5. So then we go again. Some very fragile architecture here. Level 6 we'll have our first box boost. So if you slow down time, you jump higher. And while you jump higher, if you draw in objects towards you, especially boxes, you get the additional boost from the object ramming into you, which can lead to some pretty hilarious boosts. But first we skip this introductory dialogue and the elevator ride by using our time slowdown extended jump range to slide all the way down and just reload the checkpoint. So this first box boost is kind of precise because you have to boost yourself through a hole in the ceiling, and you it's pretty tiny hole, and it's kind of precise to line up. So let's see how that goes. So here's our box.
Guess I'm on my own.
Something like this, we'll see. Time slowdown, jump, and draw it towards us. Yeah, that's good. Perfect. And now we need to switch to the other timeline, because that's where the loading trigger is. I don't want to climb up on that, but sure. And that's the end of the level. In level 7, it's a bit more combat-oriented, kind of-ish. But again, yeah, at least we have gameplay here. As I said, will be pretty gameplay heavy, I think, until level 12. So these you kind of want to avoid because those still kill you. As will, this will not one-shot you, as you will see here. That's probably not gonna reach, yeah. Again, time slowdown here is just for the extended jump range, which is an intended mechanic, so that's not anything we abuse. We're actually supposed to do that. And then make your way all the way over here. And go into the other timeline to get past this door. So yeah, most of the time you would shift between timelines and casual plays just to proceed in the level like this. But also to, if you encounter combat in casual play, you would usually try the time shift to get into safety, regenerate health. But yeah, we don't really have that many fights into the speedrun, so it's not really necessary. As you can see, once we have gameplay, it's actually speeding up quite significantly. But yeah, don't get used to it too much. Yeah, I know, sick movement. I wonder why I'm not running Mirror's Edge yet. Should translate 1-to-1, I know. So here is some more stealth action. See, they didn't see me, so perfect. Here we need to take out these guys to get a key for the next door. But you don't really collect any keys in this game, you just kill the enemies and then you get a pop-up, oh, you found a key. Even though there's none of the enemies are even near you, like this. I just found a key, I guess. Again, explosions really helpful. Oh, look, I obtained another key.
I think I found the data center.
So here we can go out of bounds by grabbing this ledge, which we shouldn't be able to grab. And also the out of bounds stuff looks exactly like Mirror's Edge, so pretty much the same game, I think.
Wait, so no waypoint? Alex, I made it through.
And now we just wait until we can time shift, because you can only go to the next level in time shift, but we have to wait out a certain part of this conversation to do that. we go. Excuse me, my PB in Tomb Raider 5 was not done in French, so you can't blame me for it. Also, that was decided by my viewers and not myself. Level 9 we have another box boost because we are kind of in this prison area. We want to get to the very top of it. So that's where those boxes will come into play.
Alex, if you can hear me, I'm in.
Still looking for Alex. I know the story is amazing.
Not many of those Evo freaks left to test on.
No, this does not have French. I mean, I think you can change the like subtitles or the language of the text, but dub, as far as I know, is English only. But here we like kind of hear that they still have some children and other persons captive, which may hint at our sister, and they said survival is not part of the plan, so oh no. So now we're in the main area of the prison. We have our box.
They were holding prisoners here in the past.
So this one is a bit finicky because we might like just get boosted too quickly too high. Yeah, or that can happen. Very nice. Don't worry about it. There we go. Oh, well, I guess you can... I don't think that can fit through the door. Usually you take this desk here. So we need this desk because we want to do another boost here in the other timeline. Because there is another hole in the ceiling. Very conveniently. And now we land on an invisible elevator and we need to break it free from these three like suspension cords. But if you would do that while standing on the elevator, this timed event would be pretty tight. But if you just sit on the back end of the elevator, you actually don't get that timed event. So that's great. Now in level 10, we have to... Yeah, so first we will encounter some captive guy who tells us he will help us, and then we will never see him again. So that's great. Good story. But the main purpose of this level is to get a tree, rip it out of the ground, and get it to a soft soil somewhere in the middle of this level, so it can grow, because you just time shift, and of course if you time shift, the tree grows, and that will give us access to the next level. It all makes sense.
How do I know I can trust you?
That's the guy, and he tells us we should trust him, and I guess so.
Point. Let me see what I can do.
This barrel I took with me because there is a fight around here. Sometimes these guards are invulnerable. No, okay, good. Which is always hilarious because then they just stand there and the barrel bounces right off them. Amazing. Please don't block me. Please don't. Oh my god. Alright. So now we need to get access to the next part. There's a button here in the other timeline. Yes, I'm here. So this will have quite a bit of time shifting in between levels, because in this one there are these guards, and especially like you saw that one guy there, or this one here, they have like they're the melee kind of enemies, and they're very fast and they can hurt you pretty hard, so I want to avoid running into them. Here they may just run into me. Okay, that's good. Yeah, sometimes they block this door, which is pretty bad, but that was okay. So now we grab the tree, we bring it to the start. There is some soft soil we can plant it into, and then just time shift.
Okay.
And oh, it's a big tree. So level 11 needs a bit of an introduction, because what we will do is we will time shift at a pretty precise moment when we would fade out from falling into the void. And if it's done correctly, one of the timelines will not have collision, which we can abuse because we need to get all the way to the bottom of the other timeline. But it also means if we mess up, we kind of fall into the void as well. So that's bad. And also the rest of the level, once we get the glitch, will be very dark. Okay, that's good. So now I can. So now the other timeline has no collision, like this. Okay. So now I'm in the timeline that has collision, but as you can see, it's pretty dark. So I need to time my jumps here a bit. Okay. Perfect. So that was level 11. As I said, one timeline didn't have collision, and we need to get to the bottom of the other timeline. So we basically abused that timeline that does not have collision to pass through certain rooms and just land in the room that has the level end trigger. So now we're in level 12, and as I said earlier, this is the level where the downtime happens again. But before that, we have some amazing fight, and after the downtime, we have an amazing boss battle. Also, there is Alex. Hi, Alex. So we need to get rid of these two guys, and the easiest way to do that, or pretty much the only way to do that, is by throwing them into the shaft there. So now we found Alex again, and big exposition dump, I guess, and people being happy. And to the shock of nobody, Alex seems perfectly fine, and that's very suspicious. And turns out, oh no, he has aligned with Mason. Who would have thought? So yeah, the whole master plan was to bait me to come here and something experiments in the past. I don't know. As I said, I am not familiar with this franchise at all. But yeah, Mason will show up right now. There he is. And basically, he will ask Alex to test our capabilities, which is to say he's the boss battle. And he has some very extravagant walking animation, as you will see. But before that, enjoy 2 minutes of people talking to each other. Something, terrorists, I don't know. So the boss battle, you can see the kind of suspended railing in the background. It has two phases. In the first phase, Alex will be on that railing and he will lob rocks at us through the windows in the background. But you can also kind of see like the railing is supported by a few pillars. So the idea is that you catch the rocks he's throwing at you with your telekinesis and throw them at the pillars to break them, and as soon as you broke 3 pillars, the structure will collapse, and the second phase of the boss battle will commence, which is more straightforward, where we just have to pew him. Also, in this level we unlock our final superpower, which is PK projectiles, which is very useful because then we don't need objects to actually inflict damage. What do I do with all these breaks in a normal run? Well, you don't run the game. Pretty much that's the best solution, and yeah, I also run other games such as Tomb Raider 5 with an immense amount of cutscenes. Let's say lately Animal Crossing has helped quite a bit with bridging those gaps. But yeah, here you can see his amazing strut. So you can 2-cycle this. You kind of want to... yeah, that's bad. You can wait a bit before before throwing the rocks. Then he will throw the next one, and you don't have this downtime where he will switch positions, but it's a bit tight timing. Oh, there we go, see. So now I did not have to wait for him to change position once again, so that's the first part done. Now he... oops. He floats around the arena over these spinny bladey things. Once we throw him through one of that, he just respawns. We can't attack him until he starts a pushback with his wind, but we can time slow down to pretty much hit him as soon as he exits his invulnerability phase. Again, now I couldn't attack him, but I just time slow down and wait until he starts pushing me around. There we go. Again, wait until he's over the blades, throw him down, and one last time. Amazing. So now, finally, we get some downtime. But yeah, as I said, now I got my last superpower, and also after this level, our superpowers are improved for a final time, so now we have a lot of time on our slowdown, we have very strong projectiles, and like, you can see, like, probably realized by yourself, but on the top left you usually have your display of health, your PK energy, and your time energy, I guess. So throwing projectiles, throwing objects with telekinesis, that obviously uses up your telekinesis power, and shifting between timelines and slowing down timelines is what drains your time power. Yeah, so now we have all of those maxed out, and also you can see in the upper right corner my battery is running out. Oh no. Also, I think I set the timing correctly. So level 13, which is the next one, will have a pretty big skip, but it's also the level where the save structure of this game can screw you up pretty badly, because it's just checkpoint based, so you can't save wherever you want to. And if you obviously mess up, you go back to the last checkpoint. The only problem is, in this case, we only get a checkpoint at the very start of the level. So if I mess up, then we go back quite a bit, including, of course, a nice loading screen. So just don't screw up, forehead. For this we will do another, so not for messing up, of course, but for skipping most of this level, we use one of these boxes again to get up onto this rock structure in the other timeline. Do that. There we go. So that's the easy part, obviously, and also you can't really die here, which is good. But now we go into the out of bounds part, and that's where it gets a bit tricky, because if we fall into the void, we obviously have to reload. Didn't mean to land on top here, even though it's faster. We also took some health damage, and that's not that great, because we will take quite the fall here, and we need a bit of health for that, so I will wait until it's like 90%. Then we have to drop out of bounds in one of the timelines, because the other one doesn't have collision there. But it's a bit finicky, so might be... Yeah, so let's see if I don't fall into... Yeah, good, okay. And now we have to squeeze through here and hit a loading trigger from outside, so you're obviously supposed to be inside this building. Yeah, okay, that's good. Now I can drop down here, go into the other timeline, because here the window is broken, which is very convenient. And now I just have to take care of this guy. Now luckily there's an explosive here. Also my hand is has very long reach apparently. That made sense. Don't question it. That's level 13. Level 14 is somewhat similar, except 80% cutscenes. But again, at the start we will do a box boost to go out of bounds. But yeah, so this is the level where we will be reunited with our sister. And obviously that literally asks for a lot of conversations. Enjoy those, I guess. But first we have this elevator ride, and now kind of Mason and Cassandra have this agreement that she gets him the Gemini formula, which is some scientific blah blah about superhumans. And in exchange he gives her information about her parents, which definitely does not sound like a trap.
If my family is down here.
So I go into the other timeline here to get this box, whatever I could do with that. Can you please? I don't like this position, but let's see. Oh, that's good. Yes, I'm very sorry for the spoilers in this very story-heavy game. So yeah, now you can see this is also not where we're supposed to be, but we have to drop back inbounds to hit the next loading trigger. And right here we can shift again to go all the way back inbounds, grab this object to put it on this switch. Sometimes it may fall off. No, okay, good. So that opens the elevator here. We can proceed. Next I will have to get again into one of these air vents or whatever they are, and the what do you even call them? I don't know. Yeah, the entrance to the air vents you can get stuck on them, which means you can't, you're kind of stuck in your crouch animation, which is pretty bad. Let's see if that happens. So this piece here, yeah, no, that's good. Sometimes, yeah, you can get stuck into. We have another one here, so it might happen here. No, that's good. It's good, and there's our sister, And now the big confusion is because she's our older sister, but we're like more grown up. What is this? Oh no, time paradox? This makes no sense. Also, they're already very familiar with one another. That's because in the actual story or playthrough, you would... do you remember level 11 where we kind of clipped through the entire level because one of the timelines had no collision? That's where you were first supposed to see her, and there you also kind of see yourself because, yeah, she's with her little sister, which would be us, and yeah, as I said, time paradox. Terrible. But yeah, exposition, and now we tell her to get the formula, so we don't bring it to Mason, so he doesn't, or he's not able to use it to, I don't know, it's exposition. And that's basically already the rest of level 14. It's just like a short segment where I have some gameplay next, where we just have to deactivate the lasers for her so she can proceed. And then we are going into level 15, which is the last level, but that one is a bit more tricky. Actually, let me open the stream on my phone so I know what time I'm at, because I don't know.
You're at 35:26.
Oh, thank you very much. That's not too bad, actually. Because, like, the last level can be a bit tricky, because, again, the checkpoints set you back quite a while back if you mess up. Which I obviously want to avoid, but you never know. So yeah, I need to interact with this, but I also need to wait until the conversation is over. But you can't just sit there and already look at the thing. While being stationary, you actually have to move. Don't question it. That's that. So now I deactivated the laser, and we can do whatever until she's done. Also, you can see very good walking animation. And also you can see now she's invisible. That's what you get for creating a time paradox. So now we just talk to nobody, but we hear them. Yes, we have voices in our head.
We don't need Mason anymore. We should still get that formula. It's too dangerous to leave with him. I don't know.
So level 15 is kind of separated into two parts. First you have this gauntlet kind of fight, where you're just thrown into a big server room or whatever it is, and there are like waves of enemies coming at you. After that you get to the final boss fight with, of course, Mason, which in itself would be separated into multiple phases, but the way we do it, we kind of skip all of that. But again, we only get a checkpoint after the gauntlet phase, so at the very start of the boss fight is our last checkpoint that we will get. So if we mess up, we go back quite a way. So at the start of level 15, I will wait for a bit before I go through the door, because if you exit the initial room too early, the enemies won't trigger, which is bad. However, it can also happen during the gauntlet that just the next wave of enemies don't spawn, and you can like do whatever you want, they won't spawn, so it kind of soft locks and you have to reset checkpoint. So that happened twice during the D-Rust last week. Let's hope it doesn't here, so again, here I wait. And then again we just try to get rid of all the enemies. So this guy sometimes blocks explosions, makes a lot of sense, but I think this is good, yeah. Then here we have some more explosions. Oh, he's early. He doesn't usually die from one explosion, yeah, you have to kind of go after him. The next one will also come out of this door, so take care of that. Or he should at least, if it doesn't soft lock. Then this type of enemy actually doesn't get slowed down if you go into time slowdown, which is interesting. These are the melee guys, so these are affected by time slowdown, and you definitely want to take them out using the slowdown, because they are very fast and interrupt you all the time. Oh, there we go. Hello. So there should be one more melee guy. Oh, please tell me you loaded. Are you serious? Did he actually not load? Of course not. Oh my god. Well, time to do that again. Good thing I explained it, and that's why I wanted to know how far I'm into the run. But that's okay. As long as the rest works out fine. So there at the end there should be 2 melee guys, and you need to get rid of all the enemies before the you can access the final boss area. Let's do that again, I guess. Okay, at least they spawned in general, I guess. Is he blocking? No, good. Very attentive. Stop knocking that around, it may explode. Like that. Excuse me? Thank you. Okay, next try, I guess. You're late. Where are you going? What are you What are they doing? Hey, oh, hey, yeah. That's a way to make an entrance, I guess. Okay, so now we can go to the final boss area. So this is where we get our last checkpoint. And of course at the start of the boss fight, how would it, like, what else than a cutscene? So if we have to reload checkpoint, we also have to go through this cutscene again, which is amazing. Because combined with the loading screen, that's like 1.5 minutes per reset or something, so that's good. Explosion sponsored by half of the dev budget. Excuse me?
Yeah? Well, I didn't bring your formula.
I'm actually surprised the graphic settings have not like changed themselves too low so far. But yeah, what we'll do here is first we just do what we're supposed to do, which is to drag Mason into the other timeline. So he blows up his own reactor or something, I don't know. But from there on out we will just continue to hopefully go out of bounds and skip all of this, just because after the boss fight you're doing this kind of escape sequence where everything around you explodes. We try to skip the boss fight and go straight to that area. Luckily the level end trigger is loaded. And so first, you want to grab him, switch timelines. Then we'll go into the other timeline to get on top of this structure, because we can't do it in this one. Sir, why are you standing here? You're not usually supposed to stand there. That's a bit annoying. Okay, I think that's good, yeah. No, excuse me. Oh my god. It's bad because they're blocking my way. Oh my god. Okay, let me refresh the HUD. Jesus, I never seen them stand there. Okay, that should be good. There we go. Okay, now I can go back and jump on this part. By switching timelines, I can go through this wall. The geometry here might knock me down, which would be a reset. It's pretty bad, actually. Okay, good. Now we can climb on this part. Again, here I might get knocked down, which would be still very bad. Okay, good. Then I need to ascend, grabbing this, switching timelines, grabbing the upper part of this structure, and here is a pretty important jump because I need to land on this railing. It's pretty thin actually, like it looks pretty wide, but it's not that generous. Then we go into this part. Here there is an invisible wall, luckily. And you can get ready on time, I guess. I will tell you. Like you will, like once I enter the final elevator, which will be like 15 seconds, I hope. But yeah, this is the final part of the run. Just here's the escape sequence. Also watch this amazing explosion effect, and the lava looks amazing. So yeah, there is the final elevator. Hopefully, yeah, it would get stuck on this guy, so I'm kind of taking it slowly, and that's time. Amazing. Yeah, that was Gemini. Again, as I said at the start, it's actually a really fun run once you get to do stuff. The only problem is you don't get to do it very often. But oh well, as I said, if you have Animal Crossing to play next to it, then that's all good. But yeah, that's it from me, I guess. Thank you very much for having me, and enjoy the rest of the marathon.